Welcome to another episode of I Know Jax. I'm Joe Talentino. Have you made plans for the holidays yet? I know I haven't. As usual, I'm behind, but guess what? I'm not worried at all because, well, I don't care. For me, Christmas is a time of fun and relaxation. All I want to do is hang out with family and friends, eat good food, sleep in, and not to do anything at all. It sounds great, but that usually doesn't work for me. Right now, we're in the process of planning 2017. Now, we have a lot of changes coming to I Know Jax this year, and I'm excited about all that. I'm also excited about our next story. You see, I finally managed to get to do a story about Gilbert's Social, Chef Kenny Gilbert's new place in Jacksonville. Now, you might remember him from an earlier show. We've done a story about his place up in Fernandina before. Now he's opened a place on Southside Blvd. Maybe you've seen the story I did about Kenny Gilbert's place in Fernandina, or you might remember him from Top Chef. Well, today I'm visiting him at his new restaurant, Gilbert's Social on Southside Blvd here in Jacksonville.
We call this our social deviled eggs. It's not that crazy different. The thing what we're doing here is we're not going to remove the yolk.
So you're not going to take it out and mash it up like Grandma does?
No, we basically just do a nice hard-boiled egg. We're going to season it up. We make pimento cheese, and then we actually puree that in a food processor, so it actually is going to look like the yolk.
Okay.
And we pipe that on top, so when you get it, you're still getting all the yolk, but you're also getting a big chunk of pimento cheese to complement it. So then we have our pimento cheese, which is our signature here at the restaurant. We kind of pipe it on top like so. And we try to just have it where it's not, totally perfect. So it's kind of each egg has its own
haphazard, just like at Grandma's.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know why I keep using the Grandma reference. I think it's because deviled eggs for me mean Grandma's house and picnics.
Well, you know what? I mean, our concepts are based on the idea of going to Grandma's house and having just a good meal where you definitely don't leave hungry.
Right.
You're like, oh my God, Grandma, no more.
Right.
I'm stuck. But then she puts something in front of you.
And then you get a piece of pie.
And then you get a piece of pie. We use the term redneck caviar.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So brown and yellow mustard seeds that we cook in apple cider vinegar.
A little tart.
A little tart. We put a little bit on top of each one. So then we have some andouille sauces. We get the Azar.
Oh, nice.
Local andouille. We slice it thin and we fry it up until it's crispy. And it curls up really nice, so it kind of adds a unique little texture and look.
Little look to it, yeah.
Sometimes just the food on its own is pretty enough. But like sometimes when you're describing it, you kind of like, oh, that's just deviled eggs.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Yeah.
But, these deviled eggs are certainly a little more unique and a little more whimsical.
Then he adds some Cajun oil and Kenny's Cajun spice on top.
She has, the different blends in there. So when you get a bite, it's
a lot of layers.
A lot of layers of flavor.
Got it.
So these are our social deviled eggs. We establish this as modern and traditional Southern with some international influences.
Okay.
So we want to be able to have some things that you can relate to in Southern and barbecue, with kind of some vintage takes on it,
right?
And some cool modern technique. But then we want to also have some things that has some international flair and character that you wouldn't expect.
Right.
So we figured that ramen would be one of the best things to do because I love ramen.
Sure. Who doesn't like ramen?
So our tag is Southern Ramen. Ramen is in quotations because we don't use ramen noodles. We use Southern egg noodles. Our broth is made with smoked ham hocks.
Okay.
So we take smoked ham hocks, make it in a broth. We add bonito flakes, kombu, ginger. We actually use some of our jerk seasoning.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cross between the two cultures. The ingredients that we have here, we have baby kale, we have roasted mushrooms, we have a jalapeno shrimp cake. So we take our local Mayport shrimp, our local wild shrimp. We grind that up with a little bit of egg white, a little bit of cornstarch for the binder,
Gotcha.
and then jalapeno, salt and pepper.
All right.
That's it. We roll it up and we poach it off.
Nice. He had shaved radish, the shrimp cake, mushrooms.
And then the baby kale, which I love because it just adds texture and also
A little bitter.
A little bitter is a nice nutritional value
Oh,
there.
good for you. Yeah,
Good
we
for
will go
you.
for the good for you part now.
And then we have our pulled pork. So this is our smoked pulled pork.
Right.
That looks really tasty, and it's a good sized portion too.
Just pour that right over it.
Right
Oh, wow,
over
that
it.
smells good.
He adds an egg that's been cooked at 63.9 degrees in the thermocirculator. That's a perfectly poached egg that tops it off and completes this masterpiece.
Then these are Benny seeds. We're getting this from Anson Mills out of South Carolina.
Okay.
It's like a strand of the sesame, but it's a little larger seed. A lot of great flavor. And then from there, we then take our nori and we just kind of put it off to the side. That's it. That's our Southern ramen.
So I got in front of me here the Southern ramen that we made in the kitchen and the deviled eggs, Gilbert Social style. I'll see you guys at Gilbert Social on Southside. If you want to get great food in a great location, check out Gilbert Social. And when you do, make sure to tell them that you heard about the place from Joe on I Know Jax. Next, we're going to talk about something else really close to my heart, craft beer. This is my favorite time of year for craft beer because I love big chocolatey stouts. Now recently I went to Orange Park to visit one of the oldest craft breweries we have in Jacksonville. So tell me first, Pinglehead, I gotta know. Where the hell did that name come from?
One of my business partners, actually, him and his brother made up the name, actually.
Okay.
And kind
it
of stuck. It stuck with him. It stuck with
Nicknames
him.
tend to do
Yeah,
that.
it's one of those made up names when you're a kid, and you just kind of it comes out.
Well, I saw that.
I won't use any
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we won't
examples,
go there.
but
Hey, I might have had one of those nicknames as a kid too.
you and I both. Far worse.
So, and then your logo's the clown head. I thought for a while maybe there was some tie there, but there's not
Well,
really,
it with Pinglehead, I think the way it went was that when we were looking for art, once we decided that Pinglehead would be the name of the brewery,
right.
that we would go ahead and find something that sounded like Pinglehead and sounds like a clown.
Sounds like definitely like
and
your clown.
a pretty sinister one at that. So.
Steve had picked 3 beers for us to taste: Pingle Juice, an American IPA, an Imperial Red, and Redemption, an English-style brown ale.
So let's start with a light one first.
Sure, this is the Pingle Juice.
Pingle juice?
Yep, and
Pingle juice.
reason we called it that is we tend to get a little, I won't say bored, but we get overwhelmed with walking through a Christmas tree farm. I've heard it put this way, with your mouth open. And we wanted something a little fruitier, juicier.
Yeah,
So we went through our hop selection and decided to pick up on a combination of English and American hops of what we consider the fruitiest ones.
Gotcha.
And built a recipe around that. So
Let's give that one a taste.
Normally I don't really care for IPAs, but surprisingly, I really, really liked Pingle Juice.
What's fun is that it has a good aftertaste. Typically for me,
I agree.
they don't, you know?
I agree. It's not, again, it doesn't go back to that, like, I just wrecked my palate, so
Yeah,
to speak, which
I haven't been
there's a place and time for those as well.
Yeah, exactly. But some of them make me feel like I licked a pine tree or something, and I'm
That's
not a big
also a
fan
good
of
one. Yeah, it's a good analogy. Yes.
This one is the red.
This is the Imperial Red.
This is sort of your flagship.
This is our flagship. This was our, when we started off as Brewer's Pizza, the Imperial Red was our most popular. It's meant to be entirely balanced, nice caramel malt backbone, just enough hops for someone who wants the hops, and just a little enough flavor for someone who may not be
like
there yet.
So as a brewmaster, how do you decide I want to do that, and how do you get there? It's a lot of experimentation, or
Sometimes, yeah, there's a lot of pilot batching involved, trying to determine, a lot of research, a lot of reading. I mean, we're still learning things every day about brewing in our industry.
a brewer is sort of a cross between a mad scientist and an artist.
Sort of,
Is that close?
yeah.
Or
And
chef?
then you add in some janitorial services, because 90% of the job is cleaning up
Cleaning
after
stuff,
yourself,
yeah.
and
That's never as
cleaning
fun.
the tanks and whatnot. So I mean, there's a lot of cleaning involved in it, majority.
Cool.
So yeah, when you get there, yeah.
also redemption. I'm down for some redemption.
I think before you commented on the color, and we decided that's more of like a ruby hue to it.
Yeah.
So it is very dark.
Dark, yeah.
But
I go dark sometimes.
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Next, I threw Steve a curveball and asked him what he would pair with this.
I'd pair beer with anything personally. I mean, you don't. I'm probably one of the worst people to ask about that. But me, if it was this here in the fall, I mean, something along with some, obviously some pumpkin pie.
Ooh, pumpkin pie ranks right up there with cucumbers. Yuck.
I would say some barbecue would be really good.
Yeah.
Some pulled pork.
Yeah, that'd be really good stuff. Yeah. Something with a little spice to it, maybe even.
Maybe something a little spicy. You know, spice generally goes with IPAs. And see where it seems to be a lot of people go with the IPAs for spice. But
I could do this.
But I mean, I can do about anything. Yeah, steak. Oh yeah, nice.
Steak. We're gonna go with.
We're gonna go with steak. We agree.
Steak is the
Yes,
answer.
red meat is the answer always.
Absolutely.
Pinglehead is in Orange Park, which is a bit of a drive for me, but so worth it.
I know that many of you have friends and family coming to town for the holidays, and this week we actually had a friend of ours from Sweden, Agneta, come and visit us. We had a great time, but now I'm gonna have to focus on getting my Christmas gift buying out of the way. Now, if you're looking for ideas for gifts to buy for me, or somebody like me, that is, someone who likes food and cooking, well, here are a few ideas. As you know, I like good food and I like to eat. I also like to spend time in the kitchen, and since I'm a little bit of a geek, I love kitchen gadgets. Here are a few things that I would love to get or give as a Christmas gift. I'm a big fan of Kickstarter. Lots of really cool, innovative products get made thanks to Kickstarter funding. And this one, the Drippo, is a great example. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but when I do, I want a cup of cold brew coffee, which is really good coffee. Now, when coffee is cold brewed, it's smoother and less acidic. It tastes just a lot better. The Drippo is a portable cold brew coffee maker. I'd bring the Drippo to the office, but I'd also think it's great for travel. There's so much you can do with the dehydrator. You can make all kinds of vegetable chips, kale chips, zucchini, and of course you can dry fruit. And then there's beef jerky. I can keep myself busy with this guy for a while, and if you have a garden, you really need one of these, don't you? Now, the Omega Juicer, speaking of fruits and garden, this juicer is what they call a pulp ejection style juicer. It has an extra large feed chute, which can handle even whole fruits. Now, this means less cutting and prepping and more juicing, and for people like me who are trying to eat a little bit healthier and add more fruit and vegetables to their diet, this is a perfect gift. Now, for the serious cook in your family, this is the one. When I visit a restaurant and talk to a chef, they often mention the sous vide. Now, honestly, I thought it was only for professionals. I had no idea you could have your own sous vide machine in your kitchen. Now, I'm super excited about this one if you can't tell. So there you go, just a few ideas for kitchen gadgets. You can find the complete list and all the information on my website at iknowjax.com. So I'm with Noon from Jacksonville Japanese Cheesecake, and she's going to explain to me, well, first of all, exactly what the difference between a regular cheesecake and a Japanese cheesecake is.
So the Japanese cheesecake, the taste profile still similar to the traditional one, but the texture is totally different. My fluffy Japanese cheesecake is made by folding a meringue into the mixture to make it a lot lighter and less filling than the traditional one. If sometimes you find the traditional cheesecake are too sweet or too dense or too cheesy, this is a dessert for you. You can put an order through the Jacksonville Japanese Cheesecake Facebook page. Okay, and now we also serve as a slice at Buddha Thai Bistro as well.
Christmas and Happy New Year from Campeche Bay!
She was aiming for my head.
Year from the Fish Company! Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Bulacan Bistro! Woo!
Merry Christmas from the whole I Know Jax family. That's it for this week's show. I'll be back with another episode, you guessed it, next week. But until then, I'll see you on the internet. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Now, if this is your first time watching an iknowjax.com video, I would love to have you subscribe so that I can continue to help you find fun things to do in the Jacksonville area. Every weekday, I do a daily video update to remind you of the things that are happening this week. Plus, we do features on great restaurants in the River City and a weekly video calendar of events to help you plan for awesome experiences. And last but not least, every week we create a new full-length episode on all the best places to eat local, drink local, and be local. So subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.